I'm lounging with my misfits.
What up, Misfits? This is your host, Nick Wickers. Hey, I just want to tell y'all guys that Shang-Chi, The Legends of the Ten Rings, just came out, and it was directed by Destin Daniel Crefton and star Simi Liu, Aquafina, Mingo Song, Fala Chin, Florence Matul, Tony Long, and Michelle Yeoh, and many more. And believe me, this film is great. It's probably one of the best Marvel films since I could say probably Iron Man 1, maybe. It's probably better than well, it is better than Iron Man 1 because Iron Man 1, that's a different story. But speaking of Iron Man 1, this movie goes back to a lot of references back to Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 3. So whenever y'all guys get a chance to see this, or when y'all want to get to the spoiler, which I would probably say is probably in the 5-minute mark, or not 5 minute, probably the 10-minute mark. Yeah, we could go a deep dive about the Easter egg references to Iron Man. But anyway, this movie is great. Like I said, this movie is great. It's fantastic. It probably had one of the best fight scenes and best fighting choreography since Captain America Civil War, Captain America Winter Soldier, and even Black Widow. Like I said, they have pure good fighting choreography. I don't know who the choreographer was. I probably want to look him up, but damn, they did a fantastic job. In the music score, man, like the music score. Yes, it did have a lot of hip hop. There's a lot of hip hop in there. Swali, Johnny Ackle, or Anderson Paak. That's a few artists. But the movie, the scores and all this such, it reminded me a lot of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So for y'all who are a little bit younger than me, if y'all have never seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, stop what you're doing. Go to Netflix, go to Amazon, do whatever you need to do. Watch the movie. It's a beautifully made movie, and that's what the movie kind of reminded me. It was beautifully made. You could tell it's all green screen and all this. Most of the movie was green screen. Well, it is green screen, but the movie was just perfect. Not perfect, but it was just beautiful. The artist, the artwork, the background, the plot. It was just beautiful. So anyway, the movie, yeah, it was a great origin story about both Shang-Chi and the Mandarin. But the thing is, they went back and forth about the Mandarin, but it's about those stories, but they never. I will say this for not spoiling the movie. They never talk really that much about his past. Like they never go straight to. They don't discuss about what did he do as. Well, they did discuss what he did because they did show the background. They showed that the Mandarin, or as his name, Zhu Wenwu, he was way older than you think. He's way older than you that you think. And listen, Tony Long as the Mandarin, he's badass. I'm sorry, I like him. He's probably his background story of a bad guy as a villain. It's the most complicated and it's almost as close as, I'll say this right there. He is up there he's not the biggest villain that you ever meet, but he's up there with Eric Killmonger and Loki. Their stories are so complex that you feel for him. You actually feel for him, and it's almost like you want him to be a good guy, but then dead straight, he is straight up a bad. Like he's straight up a bad guy. Like he will literally, if he doesn't get his way, he will destroy you. It don't matter. Only thing he wants is power, and that's all he accepted. The only time he did not want power was when he had a family. But when his family broke apart, that's when shit started. That's when the shit started eating up inside him. And that's when he started becoming the badass he is. Well, not really. What else? Aquafina. I mean, honest with you, I really don't know much about her except she does some music and she does some comedy. I think she did a comedy show, I think. But listen, y'all need to look out for her. She has great comedic timing. Like in the movie, like sometimes when you watch a Marvel movie and they have comedic time, it's not good comedic time, or it's like an awkward. Aquafina, I don't know who the writers were, but they did it right. Like they actually said, listen, this is a line, you say it, and that'll be the end of the day. Because shit. She made the whole film where like you were in her eyes, like you were the audience. She was the audience. And like she wasn't narrating and all that stuff, but she was like the person that's being introduced to this type of world, and we're her. And it's almost like we're her. We're being sucked into it just like she is. So she is a great fit. What's her name? This woman right here. I just said her name. Megan Zhang, who played Zhu Zai, Shang-Chi's sister. Man, dude, dog. Okay, listen, Misfits. If this was a movie about her, and then Shang-Chi was just in the background, the movie would just been good, just as good. I mean, like the women in this movie was stumping on the men. Like really, they were putting a foothold on some of these men's neck. It was great because the whole point is like they show that there was a time where women were not supposed to be trained as fighters. And then, but when you saw that when you saw that she was capable of doing the same thing as Shang-Chi, or probably even better, because she had to work harder, because she had to memorize everything and work harder just to become as a good fighter as he is. I mean, like, damn. I look, when the MCU brings her back, they need to bring her back 10 times stronger. I mean, like to the point where she could beat her own brother. I want to see that. Like I said, Tony Long was great as, but there was another character who played that, which is shocking, played his wife, and her name was Fala Chin. She who played Ying Li. She was beautiful, like hands down, just beautiful, drop dead gorgeous. And I think with her role and such, man, it's almost like watching it's like watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, except better. not the movie. God, that movie sucked. But it was like, I'll put it like this: if the Avatar: Last Airbender was supposed to be a movie, that what Shang-Chi, what she was doing, that's what the movie was supposed to be like. Like, it was just beautiful. Who else? Oh yeah, Michelle Yeoh. Man, hey, Michelle Yeoh is still my crush. I still have a crush on her. She's like my favorite, but like she's one of my favorite Asian actresses, and probably one of my not favorite Asian actresses. She is one of my favorite actresses in the whole entire world. One of the few. And like I said, when I'm like Michelle Yeoh, also she's in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon too. So like I said, go watch that movie. But Michelle Yeoh as Yin Nan, she is Shang-Chi and Xilin's aunt of the film. And let me tell you, like I said, she plays a beautiful role, and she plays a very strong, not only warrior, but a very strong family patriarch of the family, or matriarch of the family, because she is just she's trying to tell her nieces and nephew about the story about their mother, and tell them a story about their father, and then try to let them understand that yes, your mother's part of you as much as your father is. So you have to learn how to balance both of them in order to become the best warrior that you can be. And I just loved her as this character. She was just like, she was really great. There's more characters in it, but mostly I have to wait till we get to this when I call the spoiler. So when we get to the spoiler, but like I said, I can't get into too much detail without spoiling what was going on in the film. But there was a lot. This mainly it says Shang-Chi's father wants both Shang-Chi and Xylene come back to their house. I mean, to the compound or back to the 10 Rings in order to find something. That's something I could get to. But basically, when you see that father-son dynamic about how he raised his son and how he was how to show him how to fight, the things that would happen, it was just, I mean, it was more complex, and you could tell like they both loved each other, and you could tell that in this film, who played the younger Shang-Chi? I have to get back to it because the actor who played the younger version of Shang-Chi was great. I think his name Arnold, because you had Jaden Zhang who played the younger version, like the 5-6-year-old, and then you had Arnold's son who played the teenage version. They were great. Like they were they were great as the young version of Shang-Chi. But when you saw both Tony and Arnold had that father-son moment where they're talking about a mission that he's supposed to do and supposed to complete, and it was a touching moment because you know that he wanted to impress his father. He wanted to impress his father so that his father can sort of let go of what just happened. But he knew that since his father was, he realized his father was a bad guy. He was in one of the meetings that he went to with him. He realized his father was willing to take people's lives in order to get what he wanted, and he didn't want that. So once he realized it, he said, "F it, I'm out." Like as soon as I get done with this mission, I'm out. Like he disappeared, and then 14, 15 years later, he becomes Shang-Chi or Sean Lin, and he becomes Katie, which is Aquafina's character. He becomes Katie's best friend. They do this, blah 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 blah. Then next thing you know, they pulled back to the world because of his father. Then they got to see their sister, and then they got to go back to the compound with the father, face what he wanted, and then they go to another adventure, which means they meet Michelle Yeoh. And it was, like I said, the story is not complex, but it's beautiful. But like I said, it was great. Let me talk about the side characters right quick. The henchmen. They had a character name. I think he was in the mask. And I loved the way they had the costume and stuff because he was more mysterious. But the actor who played him his name is Andy Lay. He played the Death Dealer. That's the assassin with that mask on that almost looked like a geisha mask, but it's not geisha. Please, any Asian fans that hears me, I'm still trying to get new to this. I'm trying to get new to the history, so I'm trying to. Please don't assume that I'm being racist or anything. But like I said, they were trying to get to the point where the Death Dealer, I'm sorry, he shouldn't have been in the movie. Like, I think the movie would have been better if he wasn't in it. Like, it's like he's there, and he's there for a reason, but it's like they don't, I don't think they use all his potential. And it's almost like a letdown as a fan. It's, how can I compare? He's like that, what's that, that actress who played in Star Wars Force Awakens, the Star Wars The Last Jedi. that character who had that chrome suit, that stormtrooper who had that chrome suit. Yeah, he's like that character, and it's like it's not worth it. Razor Fist, like I said, the guy who played Razor Fist, what's his name, Florin something. Yeah, his name is Florin Matul. I think he's French. Uh, yeah, shit. He he was to me. I think he should have been like the head front. He should have been the posters and everything. Like he was. Yeah, he was a good henchman. I mean, pretty much that's what he was, just a henchman. But like I said, not to get into too much detail, the third act of the film, well, it was kind of like predictable. Sorry. Um, if you see it, let me start over a little bit. The third act. Um, Third act ended like as much like like many Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, but I will say it was a strong third act, but it's like almost like I would say it had a hit and miss, but it was still strong. And it was still great to see that third act. Um the like I said, the fighting choreography to see, I don't know how much training they did, especially Simu Liu and Tony Long, because I mean, I'm sure that Tony Long he had training a long time because Tony Long he played what movie he was in the movie The Grandmasters, and he played It Man, not not the version Donnie Yen was, but he played different. He still played It Man, but it was another movie with Zhang Ziyi. It was but Tony Long, he was shit. He was badass. Like he's still bad. Like you could tell that he used some of those fighting trainings from that to going against to against Shang-Chi. Like you could tell like he was ready to kill people. Like he's ready to beat people's asses. And see him and Shane and see him and see me Lou fight, it was a beautiful choreography. Like they it will take your breath away when you see it. How much details I can get to? Oh yeah. Post credit scene and post credit scene and mid credit scene, um, they were great. I mean, it's sort of bananas. And when you see, yeah, literally bananas. So when you get a chance to see the movie, you'll be shocked. So I'm going to get into more detail when we get to the spoiler review, which is going to happen when. So if y'all see it, if y'all guys are willing to listen to the spoiler review, it's going to happen. If not, well, see y'all guys back when you come back, when you get finished with the movie and then come back. So we're gonna go back in 3, 2, 1. Okay, spoiler review. Let me tell you something. There were two other characters that I was shocked that showed up in the movie. One was Benedict Wong as Wong from Doctor Strange, and then Abomination. So it was Abomination didn't get a chance to speak. I don't think Tim Roth was back to play him. He was returning to come to play him again until probably the She-Hulk, because the She-Hulk TV show that's about to come out for Disney Plus, he's supposed to reprise his role as the Abomination. So we probably might see him during that time. But to see him, Abomination versus Benedict Wong, to see Abomination versus Wong was crazy. It was just like we were just like, what the hell are you doing? What the hell y'all two doing in this movie? And they were just going at it. And then the next thing you know, they both came. One was like, "This is what you need to do. This I told you this." And I'm sorry. Sorry. This is what you need to do, and this is what I told you. And then start drinking, and then made a portal for them to go back to wherever Abomination belongs to. And it was hilarious. Okay, and who else was at this? But to get to the spoiler, yeah, the reason why the Mandarin at one point told me that he lived about for like thousands and thousands of years. I would say I don't know how long that, but I don't think I know he was over 1,000 years old. And the 10 rings let him live longer than he's supposed to. So they sort of made him immortal, they made him immortal. So you could tell that he's known how to fight for a long time, and you could tell that he's been trained to he's harnessed. He's been trained to fight for like years and years and years. He had all the experience, and it made him stronger. And the way they was talking about the history of the 10 rings, how he started, and the history of what they did, it was it made a lot of sense. Like the 10 rings was almost as bad as Hydra or AIM. That's how bad the 10 rings were. And I hope that in the MCU, I mean not MCU, I hope that in Marvel Comics they take notes and try to incorporate. Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what the 10 rings remind me of. The 10 rings remind me of the hand. So they already have I think Marvel, they should do I think Marvel should do like either a comic book about both AIM, like Hydra, AIM, the 10 rings, and the hand go against each other. It will be like who wants to rule the world, who's going to take over all these organizations at one, make them one, and who's going to take over. That would be funny as hell. But like I said, it was how they get started and such. And then when you see Tony and Fala when they first meet and when they're fighting and such, when they fight, it was sort of like it wasn't it wasn't even a fight, it was a dance. That's how beautiful it was. That choreography was so beautiful. It reminded, like I said, it reminded me of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and it reminded me of what was the other things that you movie? I forgot. It was like the Hidden Arrows or Dragon something. But it was just that beautiful because they were just dancing. It was like they were just basically doing Tai Chi and Tai Chi jujitsus and all this stuff. It was just beautiful. They was just dancing the whole time in the film. But who Simu Liu, man, like dude, like he was born to play this character. He was born to play Shang-Chi. So it was great. Mainly the whole story was this. After their mother died, the Mandarin got pissed off. He got his rings back. He said if he had his rings, none of the stuff that just happened to his wife would have never happened, because the guys who went to his home, killed his mother, that had never happened because they would have feared him more. And then when it came back, and then so he went back and he just tore their compound to the pieces. Like he was just mad. And Shang-Chi, little Shang-Chi, he had to witness it. And then and then his father said, F it, I'm going to train you to be the best fighter, the best assassin that ever in this whole land. I'm going to train you to be almost better as me or good as me. And he did. I mean, like the Death Dealer was his headmaster. The Death Dealer he abused this little boy. I mean, like he abused him to the point where he was like, look, I mean, he didn't have to speak. He just had that look in his eye like, I'm going to literally beat you down until you get up and you're going to beat me. And that's how badass that Death Dealer was. That's the only thing I can say about Death Dealer, because like I said before, like I said in the spoiler-free review, he was, I mean, like he should have never been in the movie, but that was probably his role, just to be the master and be an assassin. That's it. Like I said, what's her name? Mengazay, she is beautiful. I mean, she was great. When they realized that when she realized that her father was going to train her to be as good as Shang-Chi or be a good fighter in his organization, she said, F it, I'm just going to copy him and try to do better, which she did. And then it was like when she and Shang-Chi went against each other in her fighting compound, it was like she had all those rages she had against him. And all those rages she had against him, like it was like, I'm going to literally beat your ass because you left me. That's how she was. She's someone like, you left me and I had to defend for myself. And I was almost like, and I had to fend for myself and Dad didn't notice me. And then the main reason why both Shang-Chi and Zhu was coming back The main reason why their father wanted them back because they had these pendants that their mother gave them, and they were trying, and he needed them to find a location of their mother's village, because their mother's village was protecting a sacred cave, which sealed this creature called the Dweller. Now, for most fans for Marvel, the Dweller is oh shit. The Dweller is a being to be feared, but not really. Okay, let me put it like this: the Dweller is a demon or a fiend that feeds on the souls of life, and it destroys universe. Like it destroys universes, like multiverses and all this such. And this is a big Easter egg. The Dweller is the enemy, the main enemy for Galactus, the Conqueror. For those who don't, here's the little background, just so that it won't go all the way through. The Dweller had destroyed Galactus universe. This is before Galactus became Galactus, the Life Eater, and all this such. Or the Destroyer, Galactus Destroyer. This is when he was human. He was a scientist, and then next thing you know, he went to some kind of coma or some kind of seclusion, and he was asleep for like millions of years. And he became Galactus. I don't know how the whole thing. Only thing I know is he has cosmic power, but he's always been Galactus' enemy because Galactus want revenge against him. But just to get to, and another thing is, the reason why I say he's not that much fear, because he's like the lower level of bosses when it comes to the bosses of hell. Yes, in the Marvel universe and comics, there are in the world of hell, or wherever the hell is, they have the lords of hell, and there's like a few of them, 8 of them, and we already seen one of them, which was Hela. And then to see him to show up, that's a sort of a big deal, because now there's a chance we might. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, because I'm sure that Marvel's not dwelling to that side yet. But we're going to probably we might see Mephisto, because Mephisto is also the king, one of the lords of hell. And then we might see Nightmare. Nightmare is another lord of the hell. So we might get a chance to see that. And that's very crazy. And then and the Dweller got inside the Mandarin's head, and the Mandarin made his voice sound like his wife. And he kept on believing that his wife is still alive and his wife is calling for him. And it made him deranged, it made him crazy, it made him insane. And when they got into the village, Shang-Chi and his sister kept on telling him, hey, there's nothing behind there except evil. Turn around, go home. He didn't listen. He tried to burn the whole village down, and that's when we got to the third act, when everybody started fighting, and he fought them, and then next thing you know, the Dweller comes back. The Dweller comes out of that cave. He sucks the soul out of the Mandarin. I'm like, oh my gosh, why? But the Mandarin has some kind of epiphany. He had this last minute thing. Let's just say he had a last conscious thing, and he said, all right, son, these rings are yours now. He gave the rings to his son, and then he let his soul be taken. I think because he wanted to see his wife so badly that he's willing to sacrifice his own life just to see him. So, but I think the thing is, the main thing was when they had when Shang-Chi and his father had that conversation that while they were fighting, he told them straight, you abandoned us. You abandoned us when we were children. We didn't want to find the killer. We didn't want all this. We wanted you to be our father. We wanted you there, but you were not there. You value those rings more value than you value your family. And it kind of hit home, but he almost did not. He still didn't listen, and he still didn't care, because the whole point was he was still fixated in finding his wife and getting his wife back. Talk about a man who's dedicated. Michelle Yeoh's character, who was the aunt, she was teaching Shang-Chi and Zhao that, listen, like we said beforehand, you are your mother, but you also your father. You have to find a way to combine those two. And when she was teaching him the moves that his mother taught him, it was, like I said, it was beautiful. Like I said, it's almost like seeing Avatar. It's a bit better. Avatar Last Airbender, except it's better. Um, let's get to, because we've been too long. It's going to be here a long time. Let's get to the post credit scene, the mid credit scene. Post credit scene. Let me get to the post credit scene first. Post credit scene, in the end, the sister takes over the 10 rings, and she's bad at, like, she took over the compound, she redecorated and all that stuff to make it sort of like her MMA fighting compound, but she's training both women and men and do all this stuff because, like I said, the 10 rings didn't believe that women should have been trained, but she said, F that. The whole system, I'm going to be leader, the whole system going to change, which she did, which was great. And then we saw her sit down and sit down in the chair that her father sat and all this stuff. She was just looking all badass and such. She is the 10 rings. Like, she is probably the new Mandarin. She's a 10 rings, so that's great. What else happened? Oh, Postman's credit scene. Oh man. Okay, so in the end of the movie, Shang-Chi and Aquafina and their friends, you're talking, and they to explain what happened, and their friends like, you pulling my leg. This couldn't happen. And I was like, this, really? You can't believe him? You do realize that half the world disappeared, right? So if that happened, this should happen. But the only time they believe is when Wong, once again, Wong showed up, and they did, he did that Universal post credit, that he did that portal thing, and the next thing he was like, Shang-Chi, is there Shang-Chi in the house? And then he was like, oh, do you still have the 10 rings? He said, yeah. And they said, come with me. We got a lot to talk. And then next thing you know, when it gets to the post-mid credit scene, him and Katie and Wong are talking to both Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, and the Hulk, Mark Ruffalo. Well, and for some reason, Mark Ruffalo came back as Bruce Banner. Like he's not Hulk no more, or Professor Hulk. He's now Bruce Banner again. So something must have happened between him and Hulk. So we'll see what happens. And he still has his arm is still broken, or his arm still damaged. So he still has that fleece around. So pretty much we probably might not see the Hulk come out, or we probably might not see the Hulk as much as we like in the future film. So hopefully we'll see what happens. But like I said, it was great to see both Mark Ruffalo and Brie Larson and Wong working together. But they were trying to figure out about the 10 rings, because the 10 rings are not from this world. Period. And it was not in the magical library, it was not in their libraries of magic. It wasn't in the science. It wasn't from, and even Captain Marvel, she tried to look up information from space. She couldn't find nothing. So so these 10 rings must mean something. And they're probably going to mean something in the future of the MCU. And I'm betting we probably might get some of that in Doctor Strange 2. That's my opinion. And when you saw it, when it saw it at the end, there was a beacon. Like, somehow there was a beacon, it was almost like going back to the quantum universe, and there was a beacon shining, and everybody was wondering, what does that beacon mean? Who is it calling to? So honestly, it's possibility. It could be either Kang the Conqueror, Galactus. It could be anything. So basically, it was just that. But and another thing, they had, when they got in and they were trying to figure it out, they said they were going like, well, that's over. Let's do something else. Or should we do more research? And then next thing you know, Shang-Chi was like, or we can do, and they all was at a karaoke bar singing Hotel California. That was my favorite song too. So that's great. But there was, like I said, there were a lot of good Easter eggs. And I feel like Shang-Chi origin story between him and his father, that was great. Um, like I said, Simu Liu was born to play this role, and I would like to see more Shang-Chi. Like, I don't know how Marvel's going to do. I'm sorry, I don't know how Marvel's going to do this, but I'm hoping that in the future Marvel will do. This is what I'm hoping. The next title for Shang-Chi should be Shang-Chi, the Master of Kung Fu. That's what it should be the next title. But I'm hoping that they'll find a way to make this character not only just grounded, but bring the character to um if you bring this character who's more grounded than anybody else in the Marvel universe or Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would like to see the possibility of him teaming up, being a next member of the Avengers, or teaming up with some, like teaming up with Spider-Man, if we can keep Spider-Man in the MCU, knowing what's going to happen, and seeing him be a part of like I said, being part of the Avengers, and then somehow, if they can bring the Defenders back, he'd be part of that crew, and do all that such. So anyway, Misfits, tell me how you feel about this movie when you get to see it. Tell me if you like it. Drop a comment and share this, and like this video. And all right, Misfits, I'll see you when I see you. Rutabaker.